Good morning. Today's video is going to be a little different. We're not going to be working on cars at all. We are simply going to go over the total cost to rebuild this 2021 Civic Type R. I bought this car. I'm going to give you guys as much info as possible. Dates, prices, time, hopefully every little thing in today's video on this very, very wrecked Type R. As you can see behind me now, the thing looks titties. It's not 100%, but it's close enough to have an understanding of what the entire build costed. There's about maybe $1,000, I would say, in parts left to buy for the car. So let's get into it. I'm gonna go pull up IAA, which is where I bought the car, and I wanna tell you guys the exact day I bought it. Okay, well, it's not showing on my app. I can't even find the car on my app. I know exactly what I paid for it. I bought this car, it was a couple months back. I would say about 6 to 8 months ago. It sat for a while. The winning bid on the car was $8,800. I did have to drive to Seattle to pick it up. I didn't feel like paying for shipping. So that was maybe $300 in fuel. And then of course all the IAA buyer fees and all that stuff. It was about $10K, give or take a couple $100 at the end of the day to get the car to win the car on auction, get it back to Spokane. All paid for, said and done. Let's say 10 grand. I could be off maybe 100, 200 bucks. The car was hit very, very bad in the front. There was a lot more damage than I anticipated as soon as we started digging into it. I was not expecting engine work. I was not expecting transmission work. I was not expecting rear end work, like undercarriage, subframe stuff in the back of the car. This car was a lot more work than I had anticipated, but the starting price of 10K, all said and done, I feel like it was a pretty good price. By the way, you can use my discount code. I'll throw it on the screen. It'll save you $50 off of any IAA registration fees. So use my code, it'll save 50 bucks. Code is Devin 2022. So the very first purchase I ever made for this car was a giant order. It was an order, I think I found them on eBay, and then I got in contact with the company. It's a place down in Florida. I think it's called Tay's Used Auto Parts. I bought so much stuff. Let me go through every single thing I ordered from them. We got about, there's either 4 or 5 crates of parts shipped from Florida up to Spokane, Washington. That total amount on the first order alone in just parts, including freight, was $9,740. So we paid 10 bands for the car. The first order we made, $9,700. So we're already up pretty much 20K. Let me pull up every single thing I ordered. So I bought a complete front core support that included the bumper beam, that included a radiator, the intercooler, some intercooler piping, fender liners, of course, like the main core support itself, a ton of stuff. That was $1,500. I had to buy 2 front fenders. Those were $500 per side. I had to buy both passenger side doors, front and rear. I paid $350 a piece for those. I bought a complete front bumper for the car. It ended up being an older bumper. The bumper cover is the same, fog covers are different, so I'll mention that later on. Complete front bumper assembled with grille and all that stuff, which I still need to replace because it's still an older style grille. That was a whopping $1,500 bucks, $1,500, that's a lot of money. $450 each for each side on the headlights. Passenger side mirror, $175. Passenger engine mount, 50 bucks. I had to buy 1 wheel for the car, and I think all the tires were good, yeah. So just 1 wheel, $400. Steering wheel airbag, $600. Passenger curtain, $350. Dash airbag, $350. And it came with the complete dash. So the dash with the airbag, $350. Headliner, $400. New radio, because, and I don't know if I should include this or not, whatever. I'll throw it in. New radio, $400 bucks. The radio wasn't part of the wreck. It got jacked sitting here at the shop. Now we jump into freight. So the first pallet, which included front core support, the mirror, engine mount, wheel, airbag, curtain bag, dash, and radio, $430 bucks. Second pallet, which was just both doors, $360. Third pallet, which was the headliner and both front fenders, $350. Fourth pallet, which was the front bumper and headlights, $275. So that came out to a total price of, like I said earlier, $9,740. Next thing I ordered was a carbon fiber hood from Civic. I did not want to put OEM hood on the car, they're expensive. And I figured, you know, the car's black, carbon fiber is gonna look pretty damn good on it. So I went ahead and ordered a carbon hood from Civic. That was after shipping and freight and all that BS to the shop, $1,750. New windshield installed was $408. Now there was a bunch of OEM Honda parts I had to order multiple times throughout the build. As you're rebuilding a car, there's always little stuff you need, and it'd be nice to just get it all ordered at once, but as you assemble the car, you kind of realize like more and more stuff that you need. So there was 3 separate OEM part orders from Honda. First one was $814. I know that included one of the transmission cases, that included some other random transmission parts, that included clips, bolts, just random stuff. So 814 there. There was a second order of 363. Honestly, I'm not gonna guess what that was. And another one for 200. So just random OEM Honda parts. Next up, we have paint. Paint for the entire car. Now granted, I do have very good connections in the paint industry. Bobby's dad owns a paint shop, so this number may be a little bit skewed. Paint for the entire car that we sprayed. Well, we didn't paint the whole thing. We painted the whole passenger side of the car, the front end, and then driver's fender, and blended onto the door. Materials alone was $483, so pretty dang cheap. And I was able to use a professional paint booth and get the help of professional painters. So that's why it looks as good as it does. Now I did buy a transmission. A new transmission was $1,000. You may be thinking, damn, that's cheap. It is very, very cheap. I got the transmission from my buddy Condor Builds here on YouTube. He had a 2021 as well, wrecked Type R, and that car was severely destroyed. It wasn't ever gonna be rebuilt. He was just parting it out. So he hooked it up fat on the trans. Brother, if you're watching this, I appreciate you. So $1,000 on the transmission. We did still have to get it repaired, so I had to have it welded, and I paid $200 for, I think it was 200 bucks. To get the case welded. It was either like 150 or 200. Let's just say $200. I should have this intro better. So 1,200 bucks total for the transmission for this car. And I did still have to replace that one case, if I remember correctly. So one case was replaced, the other one was welded. I had to pick up a replacement passenger side CV axle. That was $250. Random wiring connectors for fog lights and headlights that were snapped off and ripped off. 30 bucks there. I mentioned earlier there was more damage than I expected in the rear, so rear subframe and some control rooms back there I picked up used. That was 400 bucks. Fog light covers. These guys here, I got these on eBay for $115. I did spray them as well at the same time. So $115 there, just because the 2021 is way better looking than the older ones. New ABS pump, just more random parts that we had to replace. ABS pump was destroyed. $200 there. Now when the car got hit in the front in the accident, it smacked into the turbo. The turbo is mounted on, like directly bolted right onto the head. There's no manifold or anything. So when it got hit, it pushed the head back off the block. We did not realize that until we had the motor back in. So I had to pull the motor back out, get that swapped out, and all the gaskets and whatnot. Everything to go through the motor was about 500 bucks. Gaskets, resurface, all that BS, head studs, dowels, 500 bucks. Pretty cheap. Of course, being the turbo was split in half, that was $800 for a replacement used turbo. There was one more OEM Honda part order that I forgot, that I ordered right off the bat right when I got this car. That was for the oil pan. The oil pan was destroyed. The cost on that was $300. And then we had to do an ACT clutch as well. So the ACT clutch and flywheel combo that went in this car costs around $1,100. We did do a bunch of random aftermarket parts, intake, downpipe, front pipe, catback, all from MA Performance. The downpipe was $500, catback $910, front pipe $332, intake $350, for a total in the aftermarket part department of $2,100. You can add that if you want, if you're gonna make your car sound better and a little bit faster. We still need to get the car tuned, which is hopefully what we're gonna be doing soon. I am not sure of that complete total. I'm gonna throw the number on the screen. I don't wanna add it up because it's probably a lot. If I had to guess, I'm gonna say around 35K. The car, of course, is a rebuilt title car, and it does have only like 11,000 miles on it, but of course, as you guys can tell by the photos of when we picked the car up, it is a rebuilt title car. It is going to be registered here soon. I just gotta pass all the state inspection BS. So that should be pretty easy to do because everything is taken care of on the car. Now for the parts that we still need to order for the car, all we need is the radar, because that damn radar with the mounts around $1,000-ish if I cannot find a used one. So that's $1,000 there. So let's go ahead and add that onto the price. And as far as time goes, I worked on this thing every single day. I would say no BS, probably a minimum, let's just go conservative minimum of 12 hours a day, every single day, 7 days a week for 5 weeks. Let's just go conservative, 4 weeks, 30 days, 12-hour days. I would say we're right around the 350 to 400 hour mark into this project, which is it's a lot of time. Of course, we had the help of Bobby's dad with the paint shop. We had the help, massive help of Vel, who has done hundreds of wrecked cars. Without his help, this thing would not look nearly as good as it does. He helped me a tremendous amount with the pillar damage, that rear quarter panel damage. He helped me paint the car. He helped me align all of the panels, the doors, the fenders, the hood, all that good stuff. And it all fits tremendously. So massive thank you to Vel. If I did not have Vel's help and Bob's help, we would probably be at double that. Just because all that stuff is so new to me. I've never done that crazy of body work before. Oh, he also helped with the frame rack, the frame pull, shading out all that, make sure everything fits there. So I would say without Vel and without Bob's help, we'd probably be at 800 hours. I would still be trying to fix the body on this car. So yeah, that's that. I hope that helps you guys out. I'm sure that seems like a lot of money for a wrecked car. I'm not really sure. All I know is at the end of the day, it was a tremendous amount of fun. There's gonna be more and more of these things that I do. I love wrecked cars and then do a little bit of mods at the end. And I'm not even close to being done with this car. We have a long ways to go. Massive plans in the future for this thing. So stay tuned. I'm sure I'll announce that project here soon because it's gonna be absolutely wild. So that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let's do a quick walk around on the car and show you guys how it turned out. Here's how this thing currently sits. It looks so good with the Cybon carbon fiber hood. Other than the hood, it's all stock exterior wise. We haven't done any sort of tint, no lowering, no nothing. OEM wheels on it still. Here's the back of it. It looks super freaking nice with that MAP catback burnt tips. Here's the passenger side. And here's that quarter panel that you guys saw earlier that was completely destroyed. That's how perfect it turned out. And the pillar. The pillar was actually easier for Vel than the quarter panel. I thought it was gonna be way more difficult, but it actually was easy for him, which is pretty wild. Let's go ahead and pop in the interior. There wasn't much interior work we had to do other than I guess it's quite a bit. Airbag, dash, repair one seat, the head unit, but it is back to 100% factory. We don't have any ABS codes, no airbag codes, no nothing. The only codes we have on the car right now is for that radar that we do not have yet. Go ahead, pop the hood. You would never, ever know if you came and looked at this car in person that she was totaled. Here's how she looks underneath the hood. All stock, completely factory. Besides the intake and downpipe, you can't really tell anything else ever happened. If you are gonna do a wrecked rebuild that was smashed in the front, try and find a complete front clip like we did. It saves you such a big headache. There's so many parts, little pieces to the puzzle that I would have to order if we were not able to find a complete front clip for this thing. Now that's gonna be a wrap for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm not sure. Comment down below. Did you think it was gonna be more or did you think it was gonna be less than the final number? Which I still do not know. Comment below. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully this helps you out if you plan on doing a wrecked rebuild, and I'll see you guys in the next video.